All right, Ethan Klein. We are 30 minutes into the debate between you and Hassan. I have issues with the way you are doing this debate. Okay? I don't think you are coming at this logically. I think you're using your emotions instead. Plain and simple. You found some things that you think look anti Semitic that are adjacent to Hassan, by the way, like the content cop video and the Sabra hummus thing. You found some things that you think are anti Semitic, that you think look anti Semitic, even if they're not, even if they're actually just not, and deciding that they are, and you're pinning those not to the people who actually made the videos. Well, for Frogan you are, but I guess maybe you are, but you're also attempting to pin them to Hassan. He didn't make those videos. He didn't make those videos. He did not get editorial choices on those videos. I wouldn't have used the sword that had the hilt that looked like that. I wouldn't have, right? I probably wouldn't have. You showed the thumbnail for the hummus thing. I wouldn't have put Ben Shapiro down there, right? I can see why they did it. Personally, I think iDubbbz was trolling you. Personally, I think he was trying to get a rise out of you, and it worked. But either way, like I said, I wouldn't personally use that if I was doing a serious video on you doing this shit. Um, but you're not coming at these things logically. You're coming at them from your emotional state. You're looking at them and just saying, oh, yeah, that's anti Semitic, and moving on. And when you're not asking Hassan if they're anti Semitic, you're not asking Hassan if he thinks they're anti Semitic, you're simply going, you think that's okay? And then when he says, I don't care, or yeah, that's fine, you go, oh, okay, if you say so. And then you move on. That's not what this was supposed to be about. You're playing gotcha. That's not the point of this. That's not the point of debating in general. Just because you watch nothing but Destiny and you know all his the gotcha shit that he plays, just because you do that does not mean you have to do it in your debates. Just use your brain. Follow me. So, the sword that you think is anti-Semitic, the sword, is it anti-Semitic? Is the sword anti-Semitic? No. It's a sword from a TV show. Now here's the thing. I don't even know what the symbol means, to be fair. The Japanese symbol on the sword, I don't know what it means. It could be anti-Semitic, actually, come to think of it. I haven't dug that deep, but it looks like a swastika. But we know it's not. If you look at it, I bet I could even pull it up. But if you look at it head on, like you looked at it like at an angle to try to like accentuate the sides of the bars to make it look more like an actual swastika. But if you looked at it head on, I guarantee you it does not look like a swastika. Not that much, anyways. Not as much as you were trying to make it seem. So the sword itself, you have to find the proof that the sword is anti-Semitic before you can say, Hassan, you need to come out against this, right? The sword has to be anti-Semitic for you to do that, but it's not. The tier list has to be anti-Semitic for you to come out against it, but it's not. It's simply not. You're not looking at the nuance of either situation. You're finding a speck of what, even maybe a microaggression, right? What you might you're coming at this in the same way. You're coming up with these microaggressions and then going, this is a macroaggression. You are anti-Semitic for this, and they're not. Do I think Frogan is anti-Semitic? No, I know she's an anti-Zionist. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Like you in this video just said, I could probably pull it up even. Hold on. You said, oh, I'm not going to dig through it. It's 30 minutes. It's just a little too long. But you know what I'm talking about. You said in this video something along the lines of, because I think Hassan said, I think Zionism is genocidal in nature. In nature. The nature of Zionism is genocidal. That's the way it's being portrayed here. That's the way I see it. I don't see Zionism as it stands, even historically, as anything but genocidal. From the inception of Zionism, the guy who made it, what was his name? Theodore Herzl, whatever. That guy in 1900, before any of this even started, was already saying Yeah, we're gonna make them the minorities. We'll make whatever land we take, we'll just make them the minorities, and we'll do whatever we want. We'll cut them out of the businesses. We'll cut them out of everything, and they can't do anything about it. That's what that guy said. Lo and behold, what the fuck are they doing? So therefore, Zionism, from its creation, has been genocidal. Therefore, everyone should be anti-Zionist. Everyone. If you broke it down into the points of what Zionism is, which is, wanting a homeland, fine, whatever. Wanting it I don't get why you need it to be where it's at. I heard there was another, even, you guys were even, or not, I say you guys, but I mean, the Jewish people that were, I guess Zionists, yeah, the Zionists were looking at other places. And when they didn't work out, they just took the Palestine one. That's crazy to me. You had another, it's the quote unquote ancestral homeland, but you had another one picked out? Why did you have another? If it's so important for you to have that slot of land in Palestine, why did you have somewhere else picked out to begin with? As a backup? Hey, you have a backup to your ancestral homeland. I mean, it seems more to me like they just found where they could take the land and they took it. I mean, being there by Jerusalem, that's probably a good thing. But for the Jewish people, I agree with that. That's cool. I'm fine with that. As long as I mean, the thing is, you took it. You didn't buy it. You didn't. I keep saying you. I'm sorry. You're not a Zionist, I don't think. Um, but like, so yeah. Truthfully, well and truthfully, Zionism is genocidal. You agree that Zionism is genocidal. So we're anti-Zionist. So we're going from there. All right, we're gonna take it from there. Now, number two, the Frogan thumbnail. At the bottom, in the Sabra section, it had you and it had Ben Shapiro. I probably would have picked somebody else that was a Zionist, but he's doing it pretty fucking well. I mean, he's doing it like probably more popularly than most people, you know, and continuing with it. So, oh, that's music. I thought someone was coming up my stairs. Um, but yeah, so that, he's a candidate for who would have gone in that tier list because it's an Israeli company, right? That was the whole point. Sabra was Israeli, and it's just not good hummus, I guess. Again, I don't actually know. I'm not a hummus guy. It could be my favorite hummus, right? But I wouldn't know because I don't really eat a lot of hummus because I'm pasty white and have no palate. But anyways, I'm I'm going off on a tangent, but you gotta find the problems and prove it's a problem, right? So if someone had a swastika on their wall and they said, "Oh yeah, I'm not a what's the word?" Or they said, "I am a Nazi," why is that wrong, right? It's wrong because the Nazis are genocidal as well, right? Right? So that's the problem, right? They're genocidal, they're anti-Semitic. The same way, and I don't think this is even a question anymore. There's not a word for it that I'm aware of, but Zionists are anti-Palestinian. They are. They are. That's not even a question at this point. You don't genocide a people without being anti that people. And if you listen to what these people say, they go, oh, they're dogs. We should treat them like animals. They're people. So, no, right? But like that's where we're at, right? So that is an obvious point of where it's obvious anti Semitism and it is wrong, right? Being anti Zionist is not the same as being anti Semitic. And you have to be able to prove that someone's being anti Semitic and not anti Zionist. What you're doing instead is blatantly just going, oh, that kind of looks like it could be anti Semitism because you, Ethan, and you do it all the fucking time, you conflate Judaism with Zionism by using bad statistics. You're like, oh, well, 70% of this type of Jew believes that Zionism is the right way. So therefore, if you're anti Zionist, you're anti Semitic. No, no, that is not how it works. You don't get to conflate two things that are different because 70%, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing, even if 99% of Jewish people were for Zionism. This is me giving into your argument here. If 99% of Jewish people were Zionist, I'm not even talking about this random like I don't know the language or whatever like the identifier here. It was started with a D for the Jews. So 70% something Jews were um, for Zionism. I don't care. That doesn't make Zionism right, and that doesn't make anti-Zionism anti-Semitic. You specifically have to point out the part that makes it anti-Semitic and not anti-Zionist. Just saying Ben Shapiro is Jewish and he got put in the Sabra section means that the Sabra section is actually for Jewish people and therefore anti-Semitic. It doesn't even work on its face because there was a guy in there in the fucking tier list that you got banned, by the way, prick, uh, for quote unquote anti-Semitism. Is he a self-hating Jew or is he a Zionist hating Jewish person? I don't know if you're supposed to say Jew. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. You're being an asshole. And in this conversation, you are not coming at it in good faith. You are being an asshole, number one. Hassan's laughing at some of the shit you're saying, and I think he could do a better job. He could be more professional. Just fucking keep it together. I get it. He's not being rational. He's not using rational thought here, and it's kind of funny at times. You got to keep it together. Hassan, you have to keep it together. You have to keep it together. He's looking for every time. They're all looking for every time you giggle at some shit he says. Every time you laugh at some stupid fucking thing he says, they're watching and they're like, "Oh, write that down. Write that down. He's an anti-Semite." You see, he laughed when Ethan said that anti-Semitism or whatever was wrong. You know what I mean? Like he's trying. They're looking for you to laugh. So you got to keep it together too. Um, it sounds like you're coming at it more good faith than he is, but it seems more like you're actually thinking, and Ethan is not. Ethan, you're taking these issues like I said, you're just getting them right up to the line of where you think. So even if that looks anti-Semitic, that looks anti-Semitic, that looks anti-Semitic. Here's the line where you find that it's actually anti-Zionism, and you will not cross it. You refuse. You refuse to cross it. It's all well, no, that's actually just anti-Semitism, and I'm not going to look into it any further. You're not thinking. You're simply not. You are simply using your emotions. That's it. You're using your emotions and you're sitting here trying to argue that what you think these things mean are what they mean. And therefore, by not saying they're wrong, Hassan is anti Semitic. That's your whole argument here. That's it. Of course, you've not blatantly said that because you won't. You specifically don't say that so that you can shrug it off. I didn't say he was being anti Semitic. I didn't say he was doing that. All I said was, I think he should have said something about the guys using the swastika sword. It's a gotcha moment, and you know it. You're being not only uncharitable, right? Because the whole point of it, so in a debate, if you're coming at it from good faith, you need to come into it thinking, I could be wrong. I'm here to hear what this guy has to say. And if what he says turns out to be factual, you move further to the other side. If you came on here and proved without a shadow of a doubt that Hassan was anti Semitic, I, the viewer, would move closer to you. I'd be like, yeah, that was anti Semitic. Hassan needs to say something about that. He needs to fix his behavior if that were the case. But he has not. If you can come up with a singular, actual time when he was being anti Semitic and not anti Zionist, yes, bring it up. I want to see it. And if he brushes it off when he's actually being anti Semitic, then we can talk about it, right? But what he's brushing off right now is your number one, your misuse of anti Semitism versus anti Zionism. And he's brushing off you asking why you didn't stop iDubbbz from putting the sword in his video. Number one, you make videos. You know that every shot isn't always in the video. I've made this video 3 times. There's 2 other videos of this that I'm saying right now, that you won't see. That's all it is. So if he sees somebody getting a video of the sword that looks like a swastika, does that mean he automatically thinks they're going to use that in the video? No. That could be a video for himself. Look, you're trying so hard to force this anti-Semitic thought process onto San's brain, and it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. I don't know how to end this video because you're just being an asshole. Like, you're being condescending, you're being a prick. Oh, you're so gracious. Oh, you're so gracious for letting me speak. Shut the fuck up and listen. You're not trying to listen. You're literally, simply, obviously playing the gotcha game. That's it. I don't know why I fucking put this video up here. We're not going to watch any of it. You get it. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing, and you're doing it anyways, and that's why what you're doing is wrong, Ethan. Because you know these people aren't being anti-Semitic. You're doing it for content. I'm taking this a step past what I've already said now. Because what I've already said is you're just kind of not thinking, and like, this is the loosey-goosey position. I don't think you're thinking too hard. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to take that. I'm going to go one step further. I personally think you know what you're doing. I think you're drawing out this debate, you're drawing out this drama on purpose because you know, with leftovers over, with Hassan gone, if you don't stay on this drama, people aren't going to watch your shit because it's shit. You do Zionist propaganda on your show. So anybody who watches Hassan and knows knows how to see Zionist propaganda, aren't going to watch your shit. Which is why you're mad at Hassan, by the way. You say that you think Hassan radicalized your audience, which is ridiculous. You brought him on a podcast together where he was openly socialist, openly anti-Zionist, and then later you're like, I had no idea that he was socialist. I had no idea he was this way. You're a liar. Flat out. I think you're lying for the content. I don't know why I'm making this video because I know you're not going to watch this video. And even if someone sends this bad boy to you directly, you're still going to ignore every point, every single one. You'll find a way to be like, well, actually, I don't think that's the case. That's too far for you, actually. You wouldn't even do that. You'd probably find a way to brush it off altogether. Oh, I don't know. He's wearing a black shirt. Anti-Semitics wear black shirts. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I assume you would take it. I don't know. I'm not finishing this video. I'm not watching you anymore, and I'm not watching any more of this fucking drama. You're doing it on purpose. You know what you're doing. You need to stop. It's time to stop. Your day in the sun is over. Your time in the fame, your time in the spotlight. However, I mean, it was long, wasn't it? You had your H3 Productions podcast for how many years? Prior to that, you had all the videos you made. Honestly, prior to Leftovers, I didn't even know who the fuck you were. I was not an Ethan fan. I was not a H3 viewer. Maybe I'm sure there's some video that you made that if I saw the video, I'd be like, oh, he's this guy. That's the guy. That's who he is. But do I know who H3 Productions was? Did I know who Ethan Klein was? No, no, because it's just not my cup of tea. It's not what I watch. So that kind of video. I mean, I've been around YouTube since its inception, really. I think a few years after it came out, when it started gaining traction, is where I jumped in. You know how the old fucking profiles used to look? I was customizing my profile. Remember those fucking things where you could customize it and make it look cool? Those were good times. That's how long I've been here. I've not seen you and connected you to somebody that I know. I don't know you as H3. I know you as Ethan Klein, the guy who holds water for Zionism. And by the way, I'd like to point out here, Gila did not apologize for saying, oh fuck, I don't know the names of these people off the top of my head. the fucking asshole, the one who was saying, I was just talking about him maybe in a different video, where he was saying that the Palestinians were less than human. They were dog. You need to treat them like animals. That guy, when she said he was a good guy, right? Remember that? And she made an apology. Her apology wasn't an apology. She specifically said, "Yeah, man, if you think that it's a problem, we'll apologize if we have to. Yeah, it's not a problem." That's not an apology. That's not you coming out and saying I was wrong. Obviously your ego gets in the way and you don't want to do that. You guys need to come out and say the things that you've done wrong. If you want to continue, I don't know, being in my good graces, I guess. Who the fuck am I though, right? Just every other viewer on the fucking platform that's not a Destiny fan. Who am I? Anyways, figure it the fuck out, man. You're being a moron. You could have gone down gracefully. Instead, you decided to chop off your fucking viewership with a goddamn steak knife. So you could have just had a nice, long, slow roll. Maybe found some fame elsewhere. You could have done other things. Branch out. You know. I like the idea of the podcast. The podcast was good. It was fine. You know. I just don't think you've done a good job. I think you fucked it up. I think you had an empire and you're drilling it into the ground uh, over nothing, really. I think you picked up. I honestly think you picked this just because he was a big content creator and he was, against something you were for. Maybe at first, maybe at the very beginning, you were well and truthfully pissed off because you thought he was being anti-Semitic. We're a year and a half. I mean, we're almost because it started in 2023, right? October 7th thing, or was it 2024? The years, whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. I think by now you know you're wrong. I don't think that you're being honest. I think that's why you're being condescending in this video. I think that's why you're putting on the bravado, the ego. I I think you know you're wrong, and instead of just coming out and listening to what Hassan has to say and responding respectfully, you're being an asshole. You could have come to this debate in good faith, showed everyone you weren't a piece of shit, you weren't a bad person, you weren't doing this for the clout, and you decided to do the other thing. That's all.